Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to some more Warpforge. And today, I really wanted to get Iconward Malak up on the channel. He's definitely had the least bit of love, I think, since release than the other two warlords. And won't say too much, but with our part 2 episode of Card Talk dropping sometime this week, I won't say exactly when. We're still figuring out the timing. Um, we'll be talking about all the warlords. We'll be talking about multiple builds. So keep your eyes out for that. But today I really wanted to get into a build that I've just been testing a bit, refining a bit, definitely missing a few pieces in my collection. We'll talk a little bit about that when we go over the deck build, but I feel like there's something here, and especially if Infestation gets nerfed, if something kind of shifts in the power level of maybe some of the ambushers, things like that, I actually think this build could be decent in the meta, and I've definitely had over a 50% win rate with it. It's nothing stellar. It's not going to rival what Infestation is able to do in terms of power, but I wanted to try building with Iconward Malak. Wanted to try tempo. Wanted to try kind of an aggro playstyle, as both of the other warlords, whether it's with Sabotage, with Uprising, tend to go later or sort of set up later. Whereas this warlord really lends itself to a more kind of aggro tempo playstyle. So I'm really excited to get that into that with you guys today. Get that up on the channel. As you might have seen, we've launched memberships on the channel. We got our affiliate all set up on Twitch. I've been streaming as much as I can. It's been a blast. For those who have been there, you guys have been the best. And for those who are hoping to join, I'll keep posting my rough schedule on YouTube. And it streams to both platforms, so you can catch me there. But we still have drops active as of my recording. A couple more days. I think it's August 26th is when things wrap up. So yeah, get those free goodies while you can. So thanks for the support, likes, comments, subscribes, all that stuff. We are almost 700 subscribers, hoping to hit 1,000 by the end of the year. I think we can do that. So if you're able to join me here, or you continue to join me here, I really appreciate it. So let's get into It's a Trap, which I don't know why this guy reminded me of the guy from Star Wars, but and obviously we've got a little bit of an ambush sub theme, but I wouldn't say this is like an ambush deck, because as you might note, there aren't actually that many ambush cards in here, and that's mainly because I don't like a lot of the ambush cards. So that's kind of my first knock against this warlord, or knock against ambush, I should say, is that the 4-drops are really lackluster, and you have to get a pretty ideal setup to allow for your kind of clunkier, ambush cards to really get through. So I just cut them from the deck, and basically this is a deck where I'm trying to play the most card advantage I can in an aggro tempo shell. We'll talk a little bit about why. So starting from the top, Genestealer Familiar, so good, really good with ambush, giving things flank, like Sanctus, for instance, can be extremely backbreaking, or actually help you come back into the game. I would say the same is kind of true of Reductus Saboteur. With Blast 4, this thing is just hitting like an absolute truck, and getting you a bit of value, even though they know that these are likely the concealed explosives. So Genestealer Familiar doing a lot of work. Perfect Ambush. I'm pretty sure this legendary is in every single competitive Genestealer build. It's probably a very safe craft, for anyone. It's just cheap, it's efficient, it's flexible. It just kind of does exactly what you need it to do. Whether you're protecting an ambusher that can really be pretty high impact, protecting a threat so it can't get Will of Gorked or something like that, it really is such an annoying piece of kind of like card advantage that your opponent really can't interact with, can't really play around. Besides stunning, that is the one that kind of works with, like Attack Squig, for instance. So and that has come up a little bit in my games, but that's Perfect Ambush. Neophyte Hybrid, nothing much to say, just efficient. 2-drop, 3 health, likely going to trade 4 damage on a warlord or receive 2 attacks. And if you get to live the dream, great. But it's just kind of an efficient 2-drop. Neophyte Trooper, not really a 2-drop, definitely more of like a 3-drop, 4-drop, 5-drop, depending on what energy costs you have in your hand. But it's just cheap, it's efficient, combos well with curving out with, or having like a big turn, I just think Neophyte Trooper generally pulls its weight in a faction that doesn't have a ton of removal, doesn't have a ton of interaction. So I think he's just been great for me. Acolyte Hybrid, again, just a good early kind of body, right? The 4 health on 3 energy is good. If you get to live the dream, this actually hits really, really hard. And often it's going to trade for 2 attacks. It just does exactly what you need it to do. Biophagus, I will say, has become such a favorite card of mine ever since I got my 2 copies. I was super, super happy. This thing has just a bunch of card advantage packed into it. So when I think about, playing out stealthers, playing out ambushers, trying to keep up the pace, keep up the tempo, and the fact that this also gets you a flank and strike ability to draw a card, which is obviously really good with some of our ambushers. Biophagus is just a really obnoxious card. It's like a 3-4 for 1, right? Because you get to play it, you get to put something in their hand. When you play this on 3, your opponent basically has to toss the poison supplies out of their hand for the most part. And that's a 2 energy deficit. You're applying that pressure to their hand. And then you get to either give this thing armor, so it gets to kind of stay on the battlefield, or if you know it's going to die, or you have to trade it off, then pick up a nice flank for your ambush cards later. Biophagus is just an extremely powerful card, and I think fits really, really well into this strategy. Bore Through is a new addition. I will say we're going to play games. I have not actually played with this card in this build before, but I found that the deck just needed a bit more reach, not just through bodies, but through damage. And so it's possible that you should maybe run 2 with a deck that also, or rather always wants to be applying pressure on the board. I'm not sure you want to run 2 Bore Through, but on the off chance that this actually does hit for 5, it really can make quite a difference. I've seen quite a bit of orcs running around. I think that Bore Through can actually be such a game changer in that matchup. So I think 1 copy is probably going to be right. Locus, cheap, efficient, stealthy, stops your opponent from answering your tempo. It's just such a great card. Neophyte Heavy, honestly, this thing packs quite a punch. And so if you're able to land the 5 on the Warlord, maybe +2 somewhere else or vice versa, because if you land that 2 on the target you're attacking, it will and kills it, then you get to reassign attacks. So honestly, it does hit kind of hard for what it is. So I've actually really liked having that in this build. Neophyte Icon Bearer. When I had reviewed this card, I basically was like, the floor of this card, okay, maybe you get 1 attack, you get 2 attacks, you get a couple of Neophytes. Is that good enough? In this deck, I feel like it is, because when you play this, when you have 1 or 2 bodies on the board, you get those uprisers. Those apply pressure to the board or to their face, right? And basically, you can have a 6-7 energy turn where you're pinging, for anywhere from, I guess, the low end being 1 damage to, upwards of 4 or 5. And that makes quite a difference when you're trying to maintain the board. It's like a mini Storm Raven, kind of, if you want to think about it that way. When you have 2 Neophyte Initiates plus 2 to 3 other cards coming down. And it really does lend itself well to kind of an aggro tempo playstyle. The other thing is, if they don't kill these Initiates, right, then we get to buff them up to 3 ranged attack the next turn with our Warlord ability off Icon Malak. And great, now I'm getting more damage on stuff that I basically got for just attacking, right? These Neophyte Initiates off of the Icon Bearer. So I just think this card actually is really, really nice for this build, and I've enjoyed it. I would say the same about Nexos. It's a stealth threat, right? They can't interact with it. They got to play a different play pattern. Then you're able to, buff your cards with your ability, heal your cards with your ability. If you've got Biophagus going, like one of the better curves to do, I think, is like Biophagus into Nexos. If Biophagus lives, then you're kind of living the dream, right? Or you go Nexus into Biophagus. All of that interaction and then buffing your team. It really hurts a lot when you think about this is +1 for each Artifice trigger, and your Icon Ward ability, right, is going off, which is also proccing that plus, so you're getting +2 melee on that, and your Warlord often can attack for like 5 or 6 pretty easily. So I think Nexus just kind of enables the strategy very well. Pure Strain Gene Stealers, we're going to lose late, we're going to lose to Flyers, but Gene Stealer kind of keeps the path clear for the most part, and I think definitely does enough work in this kind of build. Clamavis, yes, he's got the Sabotage card. You'll notice that quite a few of these cards have Sabotage kind of tacked onto them, which is basically upside, right? If I can do it, great. But really what I'm buying here is a 5-drop that stuns their Warlord, stuns a unit, and kind of keeps on applying pressure. So I've actually found him to be quite good in this sort of build. Metamorph Icon Bearer, a lot of icons being bared throughout this video, is just another way of card advantage, right? So we don't run out of gas. Sometimes I played with 1, sometimes I played with 2, but in this particular build with Malak, you can easily run out of cards trying to compete for closing out into the late game. So I think Icon Bearer just kind of pulls its weight. Sanctus, if you live the dream, it's excellent. If you don't, the card's kind of medium. I think I went 20 games without actually playing it, but just never drew it. But it is still a really good comeback mechanic for the deck, and I think probably deserves the spot. Achilles Ridge Runner, I've been kind of singing the praises of this card. Applies pressure to your opponent's hand, applies pressure to the board. You're often getting kind of a 3-for-1 where you get to kill something, put a Sabo in their hand, and then have them have to attack back to clear this. Just does a lot of work, and it's perfect for the aggro tempo playstyle. And then rounding out the roster here, we've got Reductus Saboteur, just an absolute house. This thing hits like a big bomb, and then generates additional value. It's really, really, really crazy. Blast 4 is nothing to sneeze at. And the stealth and everything else, it's all icing on the cake. Now, what I will say about this build is that it is really missing a closer. And I think Domination, the 8-drop that takes control of your opponent's best threat and either kills them with it or trades for their other threat if you're really far behind, that is probably the perfect end game, the perfect way to close out the game for this deck. So if I had the 8-drop, I would maybe consider cutting the Bore through, because this is also kind of helping me get reach, but just not as powerfully, I guess. Maybe I would experiment with like 1 Clamavis or 1 Icon Bearer, depending on going into the late game. But I think Domination belongs in this deck. I think that an aggro playstyle wants a card that says, hey, take your biggest guy from your opponent and fast and hit them in the face with it. So I think this deck will level up when you get that card. So I am interested to add that to the roster as soon as I get it. But this is what we're going to play today. We're just going to get on ladder, play some games, and see how it goes. I think the deck has some strength to it, but it's definitely got some weaknesses as well. A lot of other aggro tempo decks probably have a better time doing that than you, but it's a fun play style, and I really think there's something to it. Okay, so assuming they're going to be more mid-range control, we got some 3-drops, which is nice. We also have Clamavis and Gene Stealer. I'm going to see if I can fish for like a 2-drop here. I don't mind keeping the Gene Stealer though. Okay, a lot of 3-drops, but that is okay. Oh, I played against Shimmy a couple times. Oh, I love the voice lines for this faction. They're excellent. All right. So no true 2-drop, but obviously we can just buff ourselves and apply some pressure here. We're definitely the aggressor in pretty much every matchup. I mean, probably against Swarm Lord or like Zephyr Blade or stuff like that, you at times kind of switch to more control. But definitely into stuff like this, where we're going to be more aggressive. Okay, Barricade. So this is probably going to be... Ooh, that is a bit of a bummer. This is going to be more of a sabotage kind of build, it looks like. I mean, luckily these don't impact us until they will. So I'm just going to hit here, and then I'm going to play our Stealther. And we'll go from there. But that's a pretty nice start from our opponent. So they snagged one off their first turn, and then and then they had another one. Is that right? Yeah, got the -1. That's pretty sweet though. So yeah, we'll see what we can do here. Obviously this is pretty easy to take out. try and get an attack with Locust that keeps us in the driver's seat. We also have Nexus we could run out, or Gene Stealer. But if they apply more Sabotage to our hit, it's going to be annoying. I'm going to ignore these barricades until I have to. But luckily we're playing aggro tempo, so it's not like the end of the world for us. Okay. So supplies is definitely something we want to deal with. And we can afford to because we have the energy refill. So I actually think this is we're able to kind of keep up here. So we're going to take out one of these. We're going to take out this one, get the stun there. And then we're going to idle. And here I could play Locust so they still can't interact. But I think I'm going to play the hybrid here and hope that maybe it's hard for them to actually not let this ambush. And then from here, I mean, Icon Bearer is really awkward with a hand like this. So we'll kind of see. It might be like Locust plus ability next turn, or like answer a threat, or get Nexus going. Okay, so that's... Don't know how much energy they spent. Oh, okay. Well. Yep, that's pretty good. So we can't interact with it. It's going to kill my ambush. Yep. So that's a good answer. But luckily we can stun this. We can guarantee the stun landing. And I think we still just want to focus on keeping our hand healthy. I think that's probably a pretty good call. Hopefully get this done here. Nice. So I should not have said that. Wasn't guaranteed. And then we're going to play another Locust. And then hopefully we can take care of this the following turn. But at least it doesn't get 2 attacks. That actually was pretty brutal by Shimmy Ting. Alright, Living Icon. That's another one I don't have and probably belongs in a deck like this. Just good card advantage. We want to be attacking. So that's another legendary that's worth acquiring probably for a build like this. I've seen it in other builds. I'm not like super huge on that personally because I think there is quite a lot of card advantage in this faction. But it is what it is. All right. All right. So now I want to start getting really in the driver's seat here. And so I think the best way to do that is let's just play Nexus. Let's use our ability. We're also going to get that boost here. And then I get to just do this. And then I get to hit them, stun them. Oh, and they also have the mining tremors. Okay, so they drew an extra card there. All right. And now we're really just looking to try and keep our board presence here, and try and keep just beating down. Because now that we have Nexus, whenever we use our ability, it's +2 melee. So that's quite noticeable. Oh, we're not going to be drawing any cards anytime soon, but I think that's okay. Trade there, that's fine. Okay, we actually have the Icon Bearer. That's going to be a little awkward for us. Don't have a good application for that. So I think it's going to be, and we don't have our ability, so that is really rough. I don't really want to ease up the pressure in terms of the board. And I can still pump. So I think let's do this. Apply a bit of pressure to their hand now. And then let's just take this out of our hands so we don't have to worry about it. We could have played out the Trooper just for a tempo play. That is something I should have maybe considered a little bit more. But I think we're just going to try and stick to hitting their face and hoping we can kind of close out here. We're ahead on life, so we're in a decent position. We've got ways of answering their defense. And then, I mean, Icon Bearer is just not going to do too much with how clunky our hand is, but we could still maybe get a little bit of value from this. All right, so they use the ability. I imagine they're getting maybe flank for something. That could be pretty rough. Yeah. My guess is this is going to flank ambush. Okay, draw. So that's 2 energy. So they spent 3 energy that we know of this turn. Okay. And they're attacking us. Okay. All right. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, they got to keep the poison in their hand and be able to kill that. All right. How do we keep going here? This I just have to play 2 cards to enable. And I think I like that as a play. So let's, because then we can get some stuff out of our hand. But we can also trigger our icon bearers. And I think that's what we're going to do. So we're not going to be drawing cards anytime soon. As we're about to fill our hand with Neophyte Initiates. But the Initiates are not bad to have in our hands. So, and now they're not going to be able to put any Sabos in our hand, I guess. So there's a benefit there too. It's so crazy. What a crazy hand. Ugh. Sorry, my allergies have been so bad, so just my voice is a little shoddy. Alright, so we're probably just going to Uprising for as much as we can next turn. And hope that that can get us there. Let's see how our opponent can put up some roadblocks here. Okay, Genesteer's a good start. Got that discounted. Okay, profit. Neither of us ever running out of cards this game. Obviously much better for the profit, because they can always just pull something at a discount. It is a really, really powerful ability. But I definitely want to see what Malak can do. Alright, so let's see if they can clear this other bearer. Okay, getting the supplies out of their hands. And then do they have like a 2-drop? No. Okay. Well, yeah, not drawing any cards. So we're going to play these out first because we're going to draw more. And honestly, I think we're going to be able to get there. Okay, I'm going to turn this down a little bit. I know people are going to have PTSD from this card a little bit. So turn the music up, though. Okay. Yeah, so we play all these first out of our hand. And then that basically should be enough. We hit. Play more. And that's it. Bye-bye. Nice. So yeah, that's, I mean, Bear did kind of work for us, actually. That worked out. And we basically stayed ahead for most of that game. So, nicely done. All right, see if we can get a couple more games in here for you guys. Hopefully the video won't be too long. All right. It's a matchup where we're going to get beat down, so we'll see how this goes for us. I mean, this is solid. We've got 2, 3. We've got Icon Bearer to maybe hook us up later. And Familiar I like, just with whatever we might draw. So, pretty happy with this hand. I think generally Abaddon aggro, or like the buggy aggro build, is pretty good into like almost all Genestealer builds. But, so I haven't played it much here. And we're against Putis, alright. Let's see if we can handle the 2-time, 3-time War Master. So, yeah, so he's beating me down. I'm trying to think conceptually how I want to play this game. Like, who's beating down who? And we've got some heal as well. I think because of how much they can burn us out. Like, I think we're kind of taking the control option in this game. But it's hard to really know. I also think we might be able to out aggro them. I just don't want to bleed health. So I think pretty much if I've got units on the board, I'm probably going to be attacking. But if I don't have some kind of control of the board, then I'm not going to overextend myself. Okay, well, we're lucky that he chose that. Was guessing it was a bomb. It was not. And now we've got some options. So we could run out Icon Bearer, just grab a couple Neophytes. We also have Biovegas, which applies a little bit of pressure to their hand. The problem is then we have to kind of do Neophyte next turn as well to get kind of the full advantage. Getting 2 out of the Icon Bearer is fine. It's not, like, excellent. But I think I do like that enough. I think it's close. But I think I will do this. Trade in for 3. Get a Neophyte. Trade in an attack here, get a Neophyte. And then see how they respond to the Icon Bearer. And then next turn, it might just be Biovegas, and that's it. We'll kind of see. Okay, champion. Yeah, that's a good way to address that. But we actually... So we can eliminate this. Just takes using our face. Or we could try and... We could go like initiate. Then buff. I think I might have to hit this with my face, unfortunately, to kill it. Which I don't love, but I think that is correct. So I play familiar here. I can hit this for 3. And then I hit it for 2. Clear it. Took a lot of damage to do that, but I don't think there was much of a better line there if I want to clear the champion. I was really hoping it didn't get the health, but unfortunately it did. Alright, so it gets to kill that. Okay, Ridge Runners are going to be really great. We can clear this with these attacks alone, but we'd take a lot of damage to do that. Honestly, I think this might just be an initiate turn. There aren't a ton of targets to hit, and I think we should be able to get pretty close here. Nice. Yes, that's perfect. Okay, and then see if we can fully take it out. We cannot, unfortunately. Then we'll do this. Grab this. We'll punch here. Rather save my health, and then I'll hit here. Obviously, they can clear this pretty easily. If it's spawned them or Trader's Hate. That's why this matchup can be pretty hard too, but it's got good follow-up. Okay, looks like he might be digging for it. Or he already has it and doesn't need it. Okay. Alright, well, now we might change course because we want to cash it in for as much damage as we possibly can. And this is actually perfect. It's a good buff. Well, perfect in a sense. But yeah, this is still very good. So that's what we're gonna do. So I'm actually just gonna punch this with my face, and then cash these in for 3 each. And then we've got responses. So, I mean, so far I'm pretty happy with how this game has gone. Yeah, I was going to say, the question is, can we overcome their mid to late game? Yeah. I was going to say, if we could ignore it, that would be ideal. Yeah. Yeah, hitting all of that is a rather nice defense. And with that attack, I imagine we're going to get double attack next turn. Damn. And we have the bore through, but it's not going to matter. However, we can stun this and try and buy ourselves some time. So, okay, so this deals 4. This deals 3, that's 7. 7, 8, yeah, so I can't clear this with Ridge Runner. So I think that kind of answers our question here. So jeez. Yes, I think we have to do that. This is just going to become more of a problem. I think the question here that I'm asking myself is, like, do I cash in 4 damage? And I don't know. I don't know if that's correct, because I can pump everyone next turn. This is just going to become more of a problem. And if it heals, it's going to heal, but I sort of think I just got to go for the damage here. I could trade 2 of my health to get a little bit lower. I go down to 6, but it's tough to be in this position. Having health, regen, and Vanguard on the Venom Crawler was a pretty huge turn. I guess the best thing I can hope for is Ridge Runner plus healing allows us to clear both of whatever they play here. And then try and hang in there to burn them out. Okay, well, that's pretty bad. No, not regen. Okay, yeah, no, this is doomed. All my hard work is gone. All right, you got me, Pudis. Damn, that was kind of the perfect response to stop us from closing out the game. But, you know, again, pretty tough matchup. Just GG's Pudis. Great roadblock. I could close until Venom turn. But yeah, I mean, you know, it got pretty close there. I think if Pudis wasn't able to clear our board and we were able to cash in, I mean, I think if even one of those marks is not available so that they can't give regen on top of the health, I think we get there. But competitive game. Just a little too much of a roadblock at the end there. Okay, so we're definitely applying pressure. I don't really love having Sanctus in my opening. I'd rather draw it later. Same with Icon Bearer. Okay. So we'll see if we can get there against Anvir. Definitely on a clock. So see if we can make them play to the board, then it's going to slow down the reclaim quite a lot. So start with a good old 2-drop here and hit. Bum, 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 bum. Nice. A lot of people are guessing that it's bomb. It's interesting. Okay. Fair enough. It's a good response from our opponent. But we got the 3 damage in there, so that was nice. And then here, I think it's pretty easy to just take out this guy. And then next turn, maybe get Nexus rolling. Yeah, I still really have a lot of fun with the deck. It's tough into some of the most like top meta decks, I will say. But I think if anything in this list gets potentially buffed, or like sort of the aggro tempo gets buffed at all, or these guys get nerfed next patch, I feel like this deck's got something to it. Also, I don't have all the cards for it, so that's a consideration. All right, I think we're just going to play our Stealther, so it's annoying for them. We're going to hit, keep applying pressure. Then next turn we potentially have Icon Bear. Icon Bear is also good with the Stealthers, right? Because it kind of guarantees that the bodies stick. So it's like it's hard for them to like stop us from getting advantage from Icon Bearer. So that's another reason I like it. Okay, they're going on the offensive here. Yeah, fair enough. Well, I think we can get to live the dream a bit with this turn. And now, obviously, our board is pretty soft to things like Eldritch Storm, but you know, you got to play the game. You know, you can't worry about all of that. Okay, we drew an extra card. Getting our neophytes. Let's make sure. So we've got 5. Okay, so we're fine in terms of attacks. Would be nice to get the buff. The question is, do I attack with Nexos? Cash in for 4. I think I do. I think because this is our neophyte turn, we're gonna do that. And then we've got potentially a decent bit of burn, depending on how the board is. We can clear this for free. It makes sense. Let's see what else they have here. I'm sure they have plenty of flankers to deal with what we're doing. Okay, Banshee. If we can deny the stone on Banshee, that's huge for us. So then they can't path. Oh no, they can. They can. I was wrong. They're doing all right here, unfortunately for us. Okay. So then here we just want to burn them as much as we can, I think. So what does that look like? It's 1, 2, 3. But I also really want to play Clamavus. That's the other thing. But going for the burn damage here is pretty attractive. So I think we are going to go wide. And if we get shut down, we get shut down. But I think that's our best shot. So here we go.
The day of ascension approaches. The day of ascension approaches.
And then, guess what would I rather? This 2, 3. I don't think I want to use this to play the familiar for an extra 3 points of damage, or do I? I don't think so. It is 3 points of damage, but I think we're going to need it for whatever the response is. Yeah, okay. Alright, so Eldritch Storm obviously puts them well back in the game. But it's not Reclaim. Okay. Yeah, my guess is they have the sword in hand if they're playing like this. Actually have a nice ambush play here. That's 4. But also Clamavus is very good. This is interesting. You deal 4 to me. Yeah, so they can't kill with sword next turn. I would go to 1. But then they get to kill this for free. it's really close. I kind of want a Neophyte Heavy to get the damage proc. I guess it's not guaranteed though. So yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. Heal ourselves. Take this out. Go to 10 here. The problem is if they play flyers, we just don't really have a good way to address that. So we'll see what we can do here. It's always pretty tense around this this point against Eldar. If you're around 10 health or sub 10, it's going to be pretty scary. Oh, please don't max. Please don't max on the second one. Yeah. Yeah, that's a real problem. But we can go for the stun. The problem is we're just dead, and there's no way for us to kill them. 2, I can deal 5, 6, 7, 8 to them. I could try and stun. That's kind of what I'm thinking about here. I mean, that kind of gives us a way of not dying, sort of. So I guess that's what we do. And just hope it coin flips to them. Yeah. That's not going to do it. That's not going to do it. All right, very, very close here. Dang. Oh, I think that was our best shot at living. Yep. Figured they had the Wailing Doom with how aggressively they were trading earlier. All right, well, nice try, nice try. Just couldn't quite close it out there. So, like, I think that game looks a lot different if we had potentially domination in our deck, right? Because if they ever just try to play to the board more, a little bit more, then we potentially just get to kill them. Buffing both our guy, potentially even in the late game, and the other one. But yeah, so that's the deck. Obviously went 1-2 for the video, but like I'm much more into like showing kind of the raw footage than, sometimes I would play a set of games and then pick and choose. But I think, to be fair, this deck is, we went a little bit behind in the video, but generally I'm going above 50%. It is really fun to play, and I really think there's something here. I think if a couple numbers shift on some of the statting of like the cards, or like even if some of the other ambush cards get a little bit of a buff, like I think the synergy between flank and ambush is very clear. It's still very conditional, which is a problem. But also there is a decent bit of burn that the deck can kind of generate as well, and we were pretty close to getting there in both these last games. So anyway, take it with a grain of salt. See if you want to try it. I'm probably going to keep kind of chipping away at this build and seeing if I can optimize it. But I really like this shell of just playing the best value cards, playing like kind of the best stealthers, having kind of this ability to go wide with a lot of buffs and deal a lot of damage, and just like good card advantage. And yeah, so this is kind of feeling like my best build for Malak at the moment. But as always, I appreciate you guys joining me. And look out for a new episode of Card Talk coming soon. Look out for more streams. And as always, I'll catch you guys next time.